How's it be going, retro people? My name is Brad, this is Retro Style Spotlight, and this is your news, notes, history, and retro games to play for the week of April 4th, 2017. In ROM hacking and translation news, I've got two stories for you today. Roll has substituted Mega Man as a sprite hack in some of the NES Mega Man games, and now that is carried over into Mega Man World on the Game Boy, entitled Roll-Chan World. It's not just one game either, it's all 5 that are getting this custom sprite treatment thanks to ROM hacker Zinc. Just like before on the NES, Roll is joined by her trusty pet robot called Tango, replacing the role of Rush the robot dog. All sprites and custom sprite art are all done by Zinc. The player sprites are structured differently for the Game Boy, so adjustments were made to accommodate for the more limited tile space. There are also other noteworthy changes made to some sprites. For example, Dr. Wily's machines in Rockman World 2 are greatly improved. Zinc managed to make Wily into his normal size, and some minor enemies got improved sprites and a new character, Quart, the future version of Roll, who was kidnapped from the future and brainwashed by none other than Dr. Wily, all made it in the game. Next up is an English translation for the PS1 titled Animatic Story Game 1, Cardcaptor Sakura. Released by Eureka in 1999 for the PlayStation 1, Animatic Story Game Number 1, Cardcaptor Sakura, retells the first season of the popular anime in adventure game form. Gameplay involves walking around, interacting with NPCs, solving some simple puzzles, and capturing cards via a variety of minigames. Like the original Cardcaptor Sakura, this game targets an audience of young and old alike, and 2 players can play together using family mode. If you've never watched, read, or otherwise engaged with the story of Cardcaptor Sakura before, now's your chance to grab a spouse, child, or friend and have a laid-back bonding experience. If you remember seeing a show called Cardcaptors on TV around the turn of the millennium, take this as your chance to overwrite that painful memory with the story as it was meant to be told. This patch was made possible by the hard work of No Oni, whose hacking extended far past the main script, including adding subtitles to the animated cutscenes, editing all the image text within the game, and even adding dialogue boxes for NPCs who were originally voice only. Translation and editing were handled by Scion Bolt. Oh, and speaking of ROM hacks, here's a teaser for something upcoming on the Launchbox channel. Pier Solar is an amazing JRPG-styled RPG released primarily on the Genesis, which then turned into it coming out on newer machines. The game is fantastic, and that team knows what they are doing. Now, Watermelon, the Pier Solar team, is creating a new Genesis game called Paprium. I have no clue if I'm pronouncing that right, but Paprium. The game, like Pier Solar, is being developed on the 16-bit Genesis and is going to also come out on a physical cartridge. That cartridge, however, will be an 80 megabit cart. For comparison, the average cart size of the time was about 4 megabits, or 512 kilobytes. The biggest cart of the time was 32 megabits, or around 4 megabytes. The biggest size recorded was actually Pier Solar at 64 megabits, or around 8 megabytes. So, we're talking some serious sizes for the Genesis to handle, and this will be playable on a real Genesis or clone systems. That means the cartridge you're putting into your console is about 10 megabytes, significantly bigger than anything officially released back in the day. Some released details on the game are that there will be 24 levels, 5 playable characters at 24 channel 48 kilohertz for the audio, and all while being played at an uncompromised 60 FPS. So Watermelon is taking the Genesis to its literal max without the aid of the 32X or Sega CD. The game will have multiple modes and co-op. You will also have 3 save slots available to you on the cart. Paprium is currently available for pre-order in 2 variations, Limited and Classic. The Limited will only be available in the Japanese, American, and European-styled boxes. The Classic Edition will include a black clamshell box with a grid design on it. They're also selling an amazing-looking arcade fight stick that is exclusively Paprium-themed as a separate purchase. That isn't a bundle with the game, however, so do keep that in mind. Each edition otherwise includes the original 80 megabit cart with a full color instruction manual, box, and multiple extras. The game will be compatible with both PAL and NTS original Mega Drive and Sega Genesis systems while not being region locked in any way. The limited edition is available currently, as I write this, for $89, and worldwide shipping is included as the standard. The game is expected to launch on September 16th, 2017, and Watermelon is stressing that this is a limited production run. The first 1,988 purchases will get the Paprium manga Volume 1 for free as well. So check it out in the links below. In a bit of fun, Yooka-Laylee is coming out real soon, and Playtonic Games is not being shy about their origins. I guess they never really were to begin with. Not only is the game a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie in name, style, and genre, but they've even done their own Yooka-Laylee Rap styled after Donkey Kong 64's rap. It's obviously very silly, but still catchy, so check out the song in the links below and get ready for the game. Shedding light on unreleased or prototype games has become commonplace here, and I love that. An SNES prototype game that was recently found was Quik the Thunder Rabbit. Sonic was the direct response from Sega to Mario, and in turn, Sonic also had similar responses, and the animal mascot era took off. Quik the Rabbit was one such response that never saw the light of day on the SNES. Added in 1994 to the Euro platformer genre was Quik the Thunder Rabbit, developed by Stywox and published by Titus for the Commodore Amiga and CD32. A DOS conversion also followed, and then that was that. Another solid, if unremarkable, platform game added to the rather huge pile of them in the 90s. That is, until Assembler Games user The Real Phoenix posted a prototype build of Quik for the SNES. It is a rather curious prototype that, despite having no sound at all, it clearly shows an impressive amount of parallax scrolling in the background, and wasn't available on the previous versions of the game, something the SNES was very well known for. Adding to the mystery here is a functional horizontal shmup section that sees you avoiding attacks from a giant enemy in the background, and even some sort of one-on-one fighting stage. Sadly, the prototype crashes once you reach that one-on-one level, leaving us to wonder if there are more levels beyond that. There was also no information given on how the game ended up with The Real Phoenix, leaving us to speculate that it must have been in the works around 1994 or 1995 as he pitched Titus to publish the game on the SNES. With tight controls, multiple game genres, and some impressive sprite work, Quik the Thunder Rabbit might have turned out as a surprise sleeper hit, and we will never know the truth. Holy crap, it's finally happening. StarCraft Remastered has been announced. It has long been rumored, but it is in fact happening. Blizzard has set to launch this remaster in the summer of 2017 with no pricing, but has touted that it's 4K ready for modern machines. Everything has been enhanced in this remaster and is looking beautiful. The news doesn't stop there though. In fact, the original StarCraft is getting a patch as well. The patch will update the original StarCraft to better work on modern Windows machines, give the ability of the original users to connect to people playing the remastered version so that the player pool doesn't dry up, and will switch it over to being completely free. Once the patch does go live, StarCraft Anthology will be set to free from there on out for single and multiplayer fun. The patch and price change will launch for Windows users on March 30th. Oh wait! That was last week. However, unfortunately, it seems like the game is quote-unquote sold out on their store though, which does not make any sort of sense. It's a digital game. There is technically no stock. It's only limited by how much you guys want it to be limited, and that's kind of annoying, Blizzard. However, the store link is in the description below, and as of 4/1/17, the Saturday before this goes live, when I write the script, it is somehow sold out. So check it out now and see if it's ready to go for you, or check back soon. If you do pay for the remaster, however, which will launch on both Mac and PC, you'll get the exact same game logic and content as the original game, only with completely redrawn 2D graphics designed to scale for 4K resolutions and widescreen ratios. The remaster will also fully retouch the assets of the game's 6 campaigns, complete with new comic book intro panels and re-recorded dialogue. Ignoring the asinine digital game being sold out, look, I am excited for this remaster. I actually really loved StarCraft back in the day. My original experience with it was on the N64. As far as Blizzard games go, the only one I got into on PC were Diablo and Diablo 2 originally, and StarCraft on PC came much later. By that time, it wasn't really dead, but it wasn't like it was back in its heyday, so this warms my heart. This month in 1993, The Seventh Guest was released to the DOS market in the United States. The Seventh Guest, produced by Trilobite and originally released by Virgin Games in 1993, is an interactive movie puzzle adventure game. It was one of the first computer video games to be released only on CD-ROM. The Seventh Guest is a horror story told from the unfolding perspective of the player, as an amnesiac. The game received a great amount of press attention for making live-action video clips a core part of its gameplay, for its unprecedented amount of pre-rendered 3D graphics, and for its adult content. In addition, the game was very successful, with over 2 million copies sold, and is widely regarded as a killer app that accelerated the sales of CD-ROM drives. The game received a very positive response at its preview at the summer 1992 Consumer Electronics Show and was very successful. Bill Gates even called The Seventh Guest, quote, the new standard in interactive entertainment. Due to the success of The Seventh Guest, Trilobite released a sequel entitled The 11th Hour. The game's reception was initially mixed and did not sell as well as initially expected. Plans for further sequels to the series were initiated, but never completed due to the then demise of the company. Rob Landeros, one of the original game's designers, attempted to create his own official third installment titled The Seventh Guest Part 3, The Collector, releasing a trailer for the game onto his official website, only for the trailer to disappear and no further information on the series being released. Trilobite, relaunched under Rob Landeros, started a Kickstarter campaign on Halloween 2013 for The Seventh Guest 3, The Collector. However, it failed to meet its funding target of $435,000. Another crowdfunding campaign was started at CrowdTilt with a smaller goal of $65,000 to build the first story of the Haunted Mansion, but also failed to reach its goal. In July 2015, developer Attic Door Productions, having received licensing from Trilobite for a commercial release pending success in gaining sufficient public interest and funding, began a Kickstarter game for an unofficial fan game to The Seventh Guest titled The 13th Doll. The campaign target was set at $40,000, running until August 27, 2015. The campaign had 1,199 backers, and $60,000 was pledged. The original game has since been ported in various formats to different systems, such as Android, iOS, and Linux. If you are a patron that pledged to be a part of our Patreon campaign and are watching this early, then thank you very much. For those of you who pledged at the producer level role, your names are now on screen. If you are interested in seeing your name as a part of RetroStyle Spotlight, the tutorials, and have it be inside of the Launchbox app, then head on over to the Patreon link in the description below. At just $2 a month, you can see content like RSS early, and at the higher tiers, you start to unlock things like exclusive Discord server access, producer credits, and a personal hangout with the Launchbox team. Any dollar amount anyone pledges to our campaign is helping us create a better product, and we could not thank you enough. So that was RetroStyle Spotlight for the week of April 4th, 2017. All of the relevant links to everything you heard in this edition of RSS will be in the description below. Remember, you can sign up for a Launchbox forum account to interact with the community, moderators, and the Launchbox staff. If Launchbox has given you a beautiful library of games, then why not purchase a premium license of Launchbox for $20, which will get you big box and tons of premium-only features. If you enjoyed this episode of RSS, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to get notified of new videos that we make. Let us know what you think of RSS and any feedback you may have on it in the comments below. My name is Brad, the link to my channel is also below where I do lots of gaming content, and remember Freaks and Geeks to play more games, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day!